okay, I tried to fix my hair, but the wind is blowing, and the hurricane is supposed to come to our house today, but it's not really the hurricane. We are so far from the coast, like we have absolutely no risk. But what we do have is wind and rain, and that's what I'm looking at out here on the porch. So the wind has these gusts occasionally, and it's just like whoosh. So I actually had just brushed my hair and come out to get ready for the video, and like the second I walked out, it was like whoosh. I was like, I give up. So, anyway, it's relevant because I'm actually making the video for the Virtual Homeschool Co-op. What is your emergency plan for your homeschool? And so it's kind of relevant that I'm here in the midst of the hurricane. Like I said, I'm not really in the hurricane, but it's the winds and the rains that are extending from the hurricane. And so I have actually thought about my emergency homeschool plan, just because I'm a planner like that. If I haven't told you before, I'm INTJ, which is the rarest among women, and yet it is very common among homeschool moms. I don't know what the deal is with that, but hey, INTJ ladies. We call it INTJ here at this house because it's me and Brian are INTJ. And ironically, Ricky and Brianna are ESFP, which is the complete opposite. So my husband is a little bit different, but he's INFJ. We're very much the same, except that he is feeling and I am thinking. So there's that. Anyway, that's just a little random thought. So yeah, INTJ is the mastermind. It's also called the architect, and they are essentially planners. That's what I do. They make plans to make plans, and I do that. I am super organized in my own special way. So because I'm a planner, I've definitely planned for emergencies. So the first thing I want to talk about is the books, because I think that was the main thing that Trish was talking about. And the thing about it is that if I were in a true emergency, there's only one book I would bring. It's cliche, but it is in fact true, and that is the Bible. I think the only thing that kids really need is literature. Anything else, I can teach them math with my finger in the dirt if I have to. In a true, like, there's the wind again. In a true catastrophic situation, I feel very comfortable in my intelligence and my knowledge that I can teach my children whatever they need, especially with my experience now in homeschooling for so many years. I feel super comfortable with that. So I don't feel the need to grab tons of books. I'm minimalist. I'm frugal. If you watch my other videos on my channel, then you know that. So I'm not clinging to any kind of collection. There are things that I like, there are things that I enjoy, but in a true kind of, as they say, bug out situation, I'm not grabbing those books. They're heavy, they're inconsequential to me. But I am going to grab the Bible. For me, it's important. It's literature. There's the spiritual aspect of it. It's just necessary. And on that same note, if you are a Christian, you've probably read that series. I'm trying to remember what it was called. You've probably read Left Behind. So I read Left Behind when I was a kid. And one of the things that struck me, well, I wasn't really a kid, I mean, I was like 19 or something. But anyway, one of the things that struck me about that was that in that book, people were memorizing portions of the Bible so that in case the Bible was ever gone, they still had it in their mind. And different people memorized different portions so that if they had to, they could even come together and write it all down and have a Bible, you know, on paper to be kept just for the sake of having it. So our family actually has worked on memorizing one book of the Bible, and that is the book of James. I don't know why we picked James, but we did, and we started doing it years ago, and we tried to recite it every day like the Pledge of Allegiance, and we did that for a long time, and everybody in my family still can quote it, except for Brianna. Brianna was a little bit younger then, so she and I are still working on it. She cannot do it in the same way that the boys can, because she was probably 3 or 4 when we started doing it. So she doesn't quite have it the same way the boys do. But I could sit here and say, James, the servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptation, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. Let patience ever perfect worth it. Oh, see, I'm going to mess it up there. But if I really sit and think about it, I can straight up do it. I can roll right through the book. So that was something that we did to prepare ourselves in case for a true emergency. We tried to memorize one book of the Bible, so that might be something that you might be interested in. A lot of people I know have memorized certain chapters, but we thought doing a whole book was something that, you know, if we had to, like I said, we could sit and write it down and have this one section of the Word of God and just have it for us. So, and plus I think it was great for memory just in a homeschool aspect, for an educational aspect. Anyway, in terms of paperwork, because I think there's a paperwork thing that needs to be considered, I have all of my kids' homeschool transcripts. I email them to them. So in case of an emergency, everyone has a copy of their homeschool transcripts. So just whatever, you never know what'll happen. You know, crazy things happen out there. And if I'm not around and Rick's not around, all of my kids have it. And in addition to that, I sent a copy to a very good friend. So that way there's always somebody who has a copy of all their transcripts, and the boys' diplomas have also been sent to my friend and to them. So it's all email, it's all online. I want to make sure everybody can keep track of their very important paperwork. In addition to that, I don't think that it's necessary to, wind again. I don't think it's necessary to grab the portfolio stuff. I mean, I have that big bucket. I'll link up here if you have not seen how I store my homeschool stuff. I have a huge bucket of homeschool, all the stuff that they've ever done, ever. I have a huge bucket of it. But in a true emergency, that stuff could rot for all I care. I mean, in the end, it's not really important. You know what I mean? What's really important is the actual transcript and the actual diploma that's been emailed. Beyond that, you really can't do anything. I think this is one of those things that you can prepare as much as you want for emergencies, but you also kind of have to leave a lot of it to the Lord, because you can't control everything. And I'm a planner, and I recognize that. There's a lot of things that you just can't control. I did have an emergency situation that was a smaller emergency, in that I had to have surgery a few weeks ago. And so for something small like that you can kind of plan for, you know, I'll just plan ahead, and I usually plan to take days off if necessary. I am not stressed to take days off. I have older children. It doesn't impact me. I do agree with Trisha's thought that if you have younger children and you can, it's good to keep them on schedule, because that's helpful to you. That's helpful to keep them feeling secure in a difficult situation, that things are going to continue on the way that they're used to and the schedule that they're used to. So if my children were younger, it would be a little bit different in that way. But mine are old enough that in a true emergency, not just a little one like my surgery, but in a true emergency, I think it would be more necessary that they would be helping out with whatever it is we were doing. You know, let's say a tornado came through or something. They would need to help with the rebuilding process. And I think just as if a public school were hit with a tornado, you know, the schools would be out for a while, and you would have to work on the cleanup, and not the kids necessarily, but I'm saying the parents. And but my kids are older, so I think they could certainly help. And as soon as we could, we'd get back to it. And if they're old enough, they can study at night. And I don't need to worry about the books, because there's the library. There's a Kindle, which Kindle, you can get all those classic literature books for free. You know, and even if the library and the Kindle weren't around, like I said, you know, we have a collection of knowledge and literature in our heads. And if we did not have it, then hey, guess what? Time to write some, everybody. We can create our own literature. And so that, I think, is the very best thing about being a homeschooler. I think once you have gotten going, and my hair is crazy, I can't help but look at it. Anyway, once you get going and doing homeschool for a while, the very best thing about it is that you really begin to get confident in your own self and your own knowledge and your own ability to teach what you know. So the very best thing that you could do is keep yourself under control and not be stressed, and just try to figure out a way to use what you have in your brain and communicate that to your children. And I'm talking, like I said, a true emergency situation. An emergency where this house drops, that house drops, you know, we're walking miles just to get food and water. I'm talking the true emergency situation. But those minor emergencies where you're just, you know, I'm driving over to my sister's house and hanging out, we'll sort something out within a week or so. You know what I mean? We will make something happen. It's just a matter of having the determination to get it done and having a positive attitude. I think a positive attitude is always going to work it out for you. You can keep your kids positive and you positive and everybody not stressed. Education will keep moving. Everybody's gonna be wanting to focus on something else. So school will be fine. School will be fine. It's almost the last of my things that I think about in terms of preparing for emergencies, because school will happen. I'm not worried about that. It's the other things that I worry about more. So anyway, that is it for my homeschool emergency plan. I hope that was helpful to you in a little way. I'm sorry that the weather is so crazy. You're probably hearing it on the video. It's probably impacting the sound, and I'm looking like this. Yeah. So this is reality. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching my video, and hopefully next time it won't be like this. I'll see you then. Bye.